Across Asia, something is shifting. The youngest generation isn't waiting for permission anymore. They are demanding change in the streets, on their phones, and in the halls of power. It began in Sri Lanka in 2022 when the country's worst economic crisis in decades left people without fuel, food, and electricity. Long queues stretched outside petrol stations, inflation skyrocketed, and daily life became unbearable. Young Sri Lankans were among the first to gather at Colombo seafront in what came to be called Gotago Gamma. Gotago village demanding President Gotabaya Rajapaksa resignation. What started as frustration turned into Aragalia, the struggle, a leaderless creative and digital movement. Through social media, chants, music and art, it grew into a nationwide uprising. Within months, the powerful Rajapaksa family was toppled. In Bangladesh, the spark came in mid-2024 when a court ruling reinstated a quota system that reserved 30% of government jobs for the descendants of Liberation War veterans. For a generation already battling unemployment and rising costs, the quota felt like a stolen future. Students filled the streets of Dhaka. They used Facebook, WhatsApp, and memes to ready support, turning red profile pictures into a symbol of unity. The government tried silencing them with internet shutdowns and police crackdowns, but every act of violence fueled the movement further. By August, the pressure was too much. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina resigned and fled the country, marking the end of an era and the beginning of a generational reckoning. Then came Nepal in 2025. The government's decision to ban over 24 social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp among them, was meant to be a bureaucratic regulation. To young Nepalis, it was censorship. Outrage spilled into the streets of Kathmandu and beyond. Students, freelancers, ordinary citizens all joined in, demanding not only digital freedom but an end to corruption, nepotism, and elite privilege. For many, it wasn't just about the ban. It was about watching the same circle of political families, the Nepo BBs of Nepali politics, inherit power, while young people were locked out of jobs and opportunities. The ban was the last straw. The state's response was brutal. Live fire, tear gas, and dozens killed in clashes with police. But what happened next set Nepal apart. With the old guard discredited, Gen Z protesters turned to an unlikely space to decide what came after: Discord. Thousands of young Nepalis logged in, debating late into the night, voting in polls, arguing about who could lead the country. Out of this online ferment, one name rose to the top: Sushila Karki, Nepal's first female Chief Justice, respected for her independence. She was chosen not in parliament but in chat rooms, a digital mandate born of frustration and hope. When Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli stepped down, Karki was sworn as an interim leader, marking the first time a South Asian government had been reshaped by online consensus. Now, eyes are on the Philippines. Anger there is co-escalating around what protesters are calling the trillion peso march. The outrage is over alleged corruption in flood control and infrastructure projects, but for many young Filipinos, it's about more than a single scandal. It's about a system that feels rotten and unreachable. Surveys show that trust in democracy among Filipino youth is among the lowest in Southeast Asia, with many feeling that corruption has corroded their future. Students, activists, and civil society groups are preparing to march, determined to make their voices impossible to ignore. From Colombo to Dhaka, Kathmandu to Manila, Gen Z has shown that it is no longer willing to inherit broken systems. They are protesting, posting, even experimenting with new ways of governing. They have already chased dynasties from power and forced leaders to resign. And together, they are proving that Asia's youngest generation is ready to take its future into its own hands. For more such explainers, subscribe to DawnNews English.